The rap world is buzzing, and tonight, everything changes. 50 Cent, the king of comebacks, is stepping into the spotlight with words that will shock the industry to its core. Behind the glitz, the fame, and the headlines, there are secrets nobody dares to reveal in. Now, 50 Cent is about to pull back the curtain. The target, none other than Charlemagne the God. It's the outspoken media figure who has built his empire by commenting on the lives of others. But what happens when the tables are turned? Fans are already speculating. Social media is on fire, and insiders are holding their breath. 50 Cent isn't just talking. He's exposing the betrayals, the hidden alliances, and the unspoken power plays that have been shaping the hip-hop world for years. Every name dropped, every secret shared, every glance and reaction will ignite debate. And for Charlemagne, this could change everything. The energy is electric, the tension undeniable. This isn't just a confrontation, it's a reckoning. The industry has thrived on rumors and whispers, but 50 Cent is serving raw, unfiltered truth, and nobody can escape the fallout. As the cameras roll, the stakes couldn't be higher. The drama more intense and the revelations more shocking. Get ready, because by the end of this video, the entire rap world and the fans will never look at Charlemagne the God the same way again. Loyalty, betrayal, and power collide in a story that you cannot afford to miss. The lights dimmed, the cameras rolled, and the world held its breath. 50 Cent, the legendary mogul and rap icon, sat in a studio that had seen countless debates, interviews, and explosive moments. But tonight, it was different. The tension in the room was thick, almost tangible. And everyone present knew that this wasn't going to be a casual conversation. This was a reckoning. Behind the glam, the awards, and the carefully curated public personas, there were stories the media would never print, and whispers that the industry had worked hard to suppress. 50 Cent had decided enough was enough. "People think they know the game," he began, his tone sharp, controlled, commanding attention. But the truth, the real truth, most of it stays hidden. Until now. Charlemagne the God, the outspoken media personality whose career had been built on analyzing the lives of others, sat quietly. He knew the rumors, he knew the chatter, but nothing could prepare him for the way 50 Cent planned to lay it all bare. "It's about loyalty," 50 Cent continued, leaning forward. "It's about respect. And let me tell you something, some people cross the line and think they won't face consequences. That stops here." The cameras shifted, capturing every expression, every reaction. The crew behind the scenes could feel the weight of what was about to unfold. Clips from past interviews, private conversations, and leaked messages were queued up. 50 Cent didn't hold back. Every clip, every screenshot, every hidden exchange pointed to the same thing: betrayal, misdirection, and hidden alliances. As the conversation progressed, the focus shifted to Charlemagne's role in the industry. How did his commentary influence careers? How had his words affected other artists behind the scenes? The room became electric with tension, a mixture of fear, curiosity, and anticipation. This was no longer entertainment, it was exposure, accountability. And revelation rolled into one explosive session. Social media chatter had already begun even before the video went live. Fans speculated wildly. What could 50 Cent possibly have on Charlemagne? Is this the ultimate clapback? Betrayal? Secrets? The industry is about to explode. Every comment, every tweet, every discussion thread amplified the pressure in the studio. 50 Cent's voice cut through the murmur. This isn't about hate, and it's not personal. It's about the truth. And if you're in this game, you have to understand the rules. Loyalty isn't optional, it's mandatory. And those who forget that, well, they pay the price. Charlemagne finally spoke, trying to maintain composure. "I've been in this game for years. I report, I comment, I analyze, but this feels different." 50 Cent leaned back, a sly smile crossing his face. "Different? You think you know the truth? You don't even know half of it." The initial evidence was shocking. Messages and recordings, some leaked and some obtained privately, painted a picture that no one expected. Names were mentioned, connections revealed, and alliances exposed. The power dynamics of the industry, the hidden agendas, and the under-that'll deals it was all there. And for Charlemagne, this wasn't just a hit to reputation. It was a full-on exposure of how deep the betrayals went. Fans watching the live feed were already reacting, sharing clips and debating every line. Every pause, every glance, every phrase from 50 Cent became viral fodder. Memes, tweets, and discussion threads exploded. The story was no longer just confined to the studio, it had spread across the internet, dominating feeds and trending worldwide, and just when it seemed like the tension couldn't get any higher, 50 Cent dropped a bombshell. "You know, people think you can talk about the game without getting touched," he said, looking directly into the camera. "But here's the reality. Everyone has a price, everyone has limits, and everyone faces consequences. Charlemagne, this is your moment, and it's bigger than you think." The room went silent for a heartbeat. Everyone knew the next segment would be explosive, the revelations, confrontations, and responses that would change perceptions forever. The stakes were higher than ever, and the world was watching. The foundation was set. The audience understood the gravity of the situation, the betrayal that had occurred, and the dramatic showdown that was about to unfold. Loyalty, respect, and honesty, the pillars of hip-hop, were being put to the ultimate test. And 50 Cent was ready to make sure the world saw the full story. No matter how shocking, no matter how controversial, the room was electric. Every camera angle, every mic placement, and every eye in the studio was trained on 50 Cent as he prepared to unleash what could only be described as a verbal hurricane. Charlemagne thought God sat across from him, trying to maintain a composed exterior, but the tension was palpable. This was no longer a discussion. It was a reckoning. 50 Cent leaned forward, locking eyes with Charlemagne. "You've built an image for yourself, huh?" He began, his voice steady but cutting. "All polished, all confident, all untouchable. But behind the scenes, there's a lot you've been doing that no one knows about. And tonight, it's time the world sees it." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. The audience, both in studio and online, held their breath. The first piece of evidence came up on the monitor, a series of messages. Some leaked, some privately recorded, pointing to conversations Charlemagne had with insiders, critiquing artists and manipulating narratives. Names were dropped. Deals were questioned. Allegiances were scrutinized. The implications were staggering. "People think the industry is just music and fun," 50 Cent continued. "They don't see the politics, the betrayals, the secret moves that control careers, and you've been right in the middle, influencing who rises, who falls, and who stays quiet." Charlemagne's composure flickered for a moment. He shifted in his chair, a defensive tone creeping into his voice. "I report, I analyze. I don't control outcomes," he replied, trying to downplay the implications. But 50 Cent was relentless. "Report." Woosher Cent shot back. "You've crossed lines that go beyond reporting. You've whispered to the wrong people, encouraged decisions that destroyed relationships, and twisted truths to your advantage. Loyalty, respect. Those aren't just words in this game, they're survival. And you've been playing with fire." The crew behind the scenes exchanged glances. The tension was so thick it could be sliced with a knife. Social media feeds were exploding in real time as snippets of the confrontation leaked online. Fans couldn't get enough. Every expression, every word, every pause from 50 Cent and Charlemagne was being dissected, shared, and debated. Then came the bombshell. 50 Cent pulled up a clip from a private recording, one that many had assumed would never surface. It revealed a conversation in which Charlemagne discussed the vulnerabilities of several high-profile artists, offering opinions that, if acted upon, could have severe consequences for their careers. The revelation was explosive. The studio went silent for a heartbeat, then murmurs erupted. The evidence was undeniable. "This right here," 50 Cent said, pointing to the monitor, "shows exactly what I'm talking about. Influence, manipulation, and betrayal all wrapped into one. And you want the world to think you're untouchable? Charlemagne's defenses faltered further. It was commentary. It was industry analysis. He tried again, but 50 Cent cut him off, his tone sharp and commanding. Commentary? Nah, this goes beyond commentary. This is action disguised as words, and it's time someone held you accountable. The camera panned to the audience, capturing faces frozen in shock, disbelief, and awe. The weight of the moment was undeniable. Every insider watching knew that the implications could ripple across the industry for months. Alliances could shatter, reputations could crumble, and careers could be reshaped in an instant. 50 Cent leaned back, letting the moment linger. Then, with surgical precision, he dropped another revelation of messages that showcased how Charlemagne had allegedly tipped certain insiders about strategies, investments, and moves of other artists. Some of these actions had reportedly resulted in contracts being delayed, collaborations being canceled, and public images being manipulated. The evidence was overwhelming. Now you see it, 50 Cent said, his voice low but intense. This is why the game isn't just about talent, it's about trust, loyalty, and transparency. And you've played the game with smoke and mirrors, while everyone else paid the price. Charlemagne leaned forward, trying to regain control of the narrative. You're spinning this, he exclaimed. You're making it sound like I've sabotaged people. 50 Cent's gaze didn't waver. Spinning? 50 Cent replied, Nah, this is reality. And the reality. You've been part of the problem. The world deserves to know the truth. And tonight, they do. The confrontation escalated as more clips were revealed, text messages, private calls, and off-the-record discussions, each one adding fuel to the fire. The audience could hardly process the scale of the revelations. Betrayals that had been whispered in backrooms for years were now laid bare. And Charlemagne's reactions were priceless, alternating between deflection, defensiveness, and moments of stunned silence. Fans on social media were reacting in real time. Hashtags trending, debates igniting, and memes flooding timelines. The industry was watching, the fans were talking. And the conversation was no longer about music. It was about loyalty, power, and accountability. 50 Cent didn't let up. Every revelation was followed by a sharp commentary, a pointed question, or a demand for accountability. Do you understand what this means? He asked, leaning in. This isn't just entertainment. This is the truth the industry hides, and now it's public. How do you explain that? Charlemagne's silence spoke volumes. The evidence, the exposure, and the confrontation were undeniable. And in that moment, viewers everywhere realized that the rap world was about to change. Trust had been broken, loyalty questioned, and the consequences of actions once hidden were now laid bare for the entire world to see. The audience was on the edge of their seats. The setup was complete. The confrontations were raw. And the shocking revelations had shaken the very foundations of industry relationships. Loyalty, betrayal, and influence, these weren't just words anymore. They were reality. And with 50 Cent at the center of the storm, the rap world was forced to watch, listen, and rethink everything they thought they knew. The tension in the studio had reached its peak. Cameras continued rolling, capturing every flicker of emotion, every hesitant glance, and every subtle reaction. 50 Cent had already dropped bombshell after bombshell, leaving Charlemagne the God struggling to maintain composure. The room felt like it was on fire. And the world watching through screens everywhere could feel the energy crackling. 50 Cent leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. You think this is over? Nah, this is just the beginning, he said, his voice low but cutting through the silence like a knife. The truth doesn't disappear. And karma? Well, karma always finds its way. The audience in the studio, both in person and online, watched in shock as more evidence surfaced. This time, it wasn't just messages or leaked calls. It was a combination of behind-the-scenes deals, whispered conversations, and intercepted communications that painted a clear picture. Charlemagne had been manipulating narratives, pitting artists against each other, and influencing decisions that shaped careers. 50 Cent paused, letting the silence speak. See, this is why loyalty matters. Respect matters. And when you don't honor that, consequences follow. Charlemagne attempted to respond, but the words stumbled out. I didn't mean he began only to be cut off by 50 Cent's steely glare. Mean or not, the impact is real. You've played a dangerous game, and now everyone knows it. This isn't just about what you said. It's about the ripples you created. The live feed exploded on social media. Fans were reacting in real time, dissecting every statement, every facial expression, every pause. #50 Cent vs Charlemagne began trending worldwide. Clips of 50 Cent dropping evidence were shared, replayed, and debated endlessly. The industry felt the tremor. Artists, insiders, and commentators all had opinions, and many were starting to question alliances, trusts, and who was truly loyal. 50 Cent wasn't finished. He pulled up a series of interactions showing how Charlemagne's commentary had affected business deals, collaborations, and even public perception of major artists. These are the consequences, 50 Cent said, his tone sharp. Every move, every whisper, every manipulation has a cost. And tonight, that cost is revealed. Charlemagne shifted uncomfortably, realizing the magnitude of what was unfolding. The layers of exposure were too deep to simply deflect. Private messages, hidden agendas, and behind-the-scenes strategies all converged to present an undeniable truth. The audience in the studio felt the gravity of the moment. They weren't just witnessing a confrontation, they were watching history in the making. A rare glimpse into the underbelly of the hip-hop industry. 50 Cent leaned back, exhaling slowly, a look of controlled satisfaction on his face. "I didn't do this for drama," he said, his voice steady. "I did this for the truth. The industry needs to know. The fans deserve it. And those who've been playing with fire, well, tonight, the flames are visible for everyone to see." The aftermath was immediate. Artists began publicly discussing the revelations, expressing surprise, shock, and, in some cases, relief. Some insiders quietly acknowledged that the exposures validated long-held suspicions. Social media channels lit up with commentary, videos, memes, and debates. The conversation wasn't just about Charlemagne God did was about the very nature of loyalty. Influence and transparency in hip-hop. Charlemagne, meanwhile, had no choice but to respond. His statements, carefully measured, attempted to defend his position while acknowledging the gravity of the exposure. "I've always spoken my truth," he said in a brief statement. "If people see it differently, that's on them. But I never intended harm." 50 Cent, however, had already made his mark. The evidence, the confrontations, and the unflinching exposure had shifted the narrative. Fans, artists, and industry watchers understood that things would never be the same. Trust would be reevaluated, alliances reconsidered, and reputations redefined. The drama wasn't just confined to this one studioette, had spread across platforms, dominating conversations and leaving an indelible mark on the culture. As the video continued, 50 Cent summarized the core lesson. Loyalty and respect aren't just words, they're the foundation of everything in this game. Manipulate, betray, or mislead, and eventually, it comes out. Tonight, we saw the consequences firsthand. The live audience, the online viewers, and the broader hip-hop community absorbed every word, every glance, and every revelation. What started as a confrontation had become a masterclass in accountability, exposure, and drama. 50 Cent had taken control of the narrative, reshaped perceptions, and set a precedent that no one would forget. The fallout was clear. Charlemagne the God's image had been challenged. The industry had been shaken, and fans were left debating who could be trusted, who had crossed the line, and what would happen next. The drama was real, the exposure undeniable. And 50 Cent had ensured that the truth would not be ignored. The story concluded. But the ripple effects would continue for months, if not years. Loyalty, betrayal, power, and truth had collided in a spectacular showdown. The rap world had witnessed something rare, an unfiltered look at the hidden dynamics behind the industry. Served up by one of its most influential figures, 50 Cent had done more than expose a betrayal. He had created a cultural moment. And as the credits rolled, the world was left with one undeniable truth. In hip-hop, nothing stays hidden forever. The shadows of betrayal are always illuminated by the light of exposure. And tonight, that light had burned brighter than ever. Wow. If you thought you knew the hip-hop world, think again. What we just witnessed with 50 Cent exposing Charlemagne thought God has shaken the industry to its core. This isn't just drama, it's the kind of revelation that changes how we see loyalty, betrayal, and power in the music business. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Charlemagne crossed the line, or was 50 Cent overstepping? Who else in the industry do you think has been hiding secrets behind closed doors? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we want to hear every take, every theory, every reaction. This conversation isn't over and your voice matters. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next deep dive into hip-hop's most explosive dramas. From shocking feuds to behind-the-scenes betrayals, we bring you the stories the mainstream media won't cover. Smash that like button if you were shocked by today's revelations. It helps us know you want more exclusive content just like this. Share this video with your friends, your crew, and anyone who loves hip-hop drama, because the truth deserves to be seen. Remember, in the world of rap, loyalty isn't just a word, it's survival. And tonight, we saw the consequences of betrayal unfold in real time. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep watching because the stories are only getting bigger, bolder, and more explosive. Getting bigger, bolder, and more explosive.